I would say it's the perfect time to start the first challenge.
Not really my topic.
Might be the winning picture.
Nowhere is a sign or anything.
This challenge is really a challenge.
3 photographers on an adventurous road trip through northern Norway. Steep mountains, rugged islands, deep fjords. Perfect conditions for Team Haukland.
On the second day we drove to Hamn in Senja and it was time for the first challenge. People on Instagram and Facebook could post challenges for us. Their difficulty will increase over the course of this trip, and the first challenge is a big challenge here at this place with these beautiful colors. Because it's the black and white challenge. That means 1 hour time, only black and white photos. We set the camera to black and white, no color photos allowed, only black and white. Make sure the composition is right, light and shadow is very important, and color doesn't matter at all, which is of course super ugly now with these fantastic colors. 1 hour time, from now on, let's go.
This challenge is really a challenge. I never take photos in black and white, and that's why I have to get used to it a bit. Rethink and start to search for something with good contrasts and clear lines.
Normally I would say great, because I often take photos in black and white myself, because you can see the contrasts much better. Over here it's kind of a bummer, of course. We finally have sunshine and beautiful colors. That sucks.
Pretty exciting. As a photographer, that gets you out of your comfort zone. Where I would normally say I take a long exposure, maybe use a polarizing filter and so on, I'll now in black and white do it different, maybe overexpose. The motive I photograph is the little red house there and the sun is shining directly on it. I think that will look very fresh.
The challenge with black and white photography is to no longer concentrate on colors, but only on contrasts. My tip, set your camera to black and white right away. Now you can see that boat over there, wonderfully separated in the water. That could look really cool. Now a couple of paddlers are coming right up to me with the kayaks. That is also a great motive, of course. Especially when the sun comes from behind. Reflecting on the water, it's beautifully white and it helps to separate the paddlers even better, as you can see. Great thing. Thanks, guys! Oh, they didn't listen, but I'm happy.
I've put on a telephoto lens, I get a lot closer and really like the frame. So one picture is already in the box that I'm cool with.
I always look for shapes. For example, these little huts you see in the background. And if I expose them very dark, they make a great contrast to the sky. And that looked pretty cool already. And up here I discovered another new building. That's also looking very promising. If I use my long 70-200 lens, I'll get a nice crop of the image. Oh, wait a second. Let me show you the viewfinder and you'll know what I mean. I call it the quiet place. There really is a toilet in the middle of nowhere here. Epic location for a shit, I would say. But it also works very well for a cool picture. And yeah, it's always worth walking off the beaten track. This backyard, for example, was definitely a win. Might be the winning picture.
I don't know if you can see it in the video, but down there are fish swimming and sea urchins, and they have a crazy color. They are pink and have white spines, but yeah, no color, only black and white. But I found a very exciting perspective, that rock island over there.
Back there in the distance, the light sometimes beams through the clouds. Take a look at those shots.
Someone told me that Christoph found a cool spot. So before I'm wasting more time at the harbor, I will have a look what he has found.
And that was quite obvious. I wouldn't be alone for long. He already had the big lens on it. The view is quite good here, huh?
Grab your seat at the fantasy parade. What I see is all inside my head. Am I hanging on too tight? Baby, you're my light. I never wanna fall away or lose my sight. Am I hanging on too tight? For me, it's just the thought of you that sets it right. Baby, you're my light.
All photos done. I think there are some good ones, and that really challenged me. It was fun.
Yeah, after I wasn't happy with the challenge in the first place, I have to admit that this was a great idea. I took so many great images. Architecture, landscape, and a combination of both. Great.
The black and white challenge was not easy, but I found my way. I focused more on small details and tried to find motifs that pop out a bit. And also some birds. It was fun, and there are some good pictures on my camera.
I only discovered a bright seagull as a real motif using the black and white settings in the camera. You mainly work with contrasts and discover motifs that you might not photograph otherwise. So, thank you very much for this challenge. We had a lot of fun. It was a good challenge because it forces you to take photos differently and to think a bit out of the box. Usually I take photos to my own scheme, according to my own style. I'm very much in a routine when I take photos, and now you need to do it different than you might otherwise do. I think the photos could be good looking in color. If you shoot raw, the pictures that you shoot in black and white, they are only the preview in JPEG. Later, you have the original raw image, and it is still in color. Not far away you have that beautiful view, the small island with a bridge in the front, but it's a bit of shame they are building a brand new house there in the back, modern style, an ugly cube, and then you have this really cool traditional old house in the foreground. sad. We could not 100% photograph the scene without seeing the new building behind it, and probably in a few months it's completely wasted. A few years ago it was a total different view. That's why photography is so cool. Capture a moment for eternity. We wanted to go to our final spot for today, the Zegla. It's a very cool mountain on Senja, very well-known motif through Instagram, a massive rock formation on top of a mountain. Epic location. And on the way we didn't just want to drive back along the coast again, we wanted to drive a bit through the countryside. And we saw a lake and there was a small canyon next to it. And I thought there must be a waterfall somewhere. And we were lucky.
We walked through the wet bushes to find a good angle for the camera.
Let's check out the waterfall. Come with me. Nowhere is a sign or anything. You have to develop a feeling for motifs. Usually if you are somewhere nowadays, you look for signs or Google Maps if there's a waterfall or somehow an attraction. And no matter where we drove at Senja, there were at least 3, 4, 5 waterfalls right next to the road. Probably because snow was already on top and it was melting down. But yeah, whatever, it's great, unbelievable.
Waterfalls in the foreground and high peaks in the background. That looked pretty amazing.
I took a few shots with Christoph and the red jacket. That works very well next to the waterfall. Also for size relations, you see that big's the waterfall, that small the person. Of course, the red jacket fits very well as an additional eye-catcher.
I discovered that over there is a beautiful spot with a small creek where the water flows slowly out of the lake. And this will be my first shot here.
The guys used their tripods for some long exposure shots. But I'm a bit more lazy. I set the exposure time to 1/10 of a second and was able to shoot this setting quite well handheld. That's why I was able to pick out a few other perspectives.
When we arrived at Zegla, it rained again.
In the afternoon, we wanted to hike up to Zegla.
Up there! All the way up to the top. Is that a good idea with this weather?
When it's raining, it's very slippery. You have to be really careful.
Oh, it's getting muddy. Ay, 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 ay.
Could only use the cell phone.
Here it goes so deep down.
Just keep on going. It's the name of the game.
It's sad, but I definitely have to say goodbye for this trip.